entrepreneurship, unfortunately, it's a game of being a supporting character. The reality is, if you do not make the business about the people that you are called to serve, you probably won't be very successful in that business. We see all the time, one of the biggest mistakes people will make is they'll make their marketing, they'll make their content, their ads, their website, etc., etc., etc. They'll make it about them.
Welcome to the Gym Member Machine Podcast.
I just rewatched the best movie trilogy of all time. You want to guess what it is? And it's not Golden Girls or whatever the hell you're about to tell me.
I'll give you a hint. There's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for.
Lord of the Rings, damn it. I just rewatched The Lord of the Rings, and my God, does it have some marketing and growth lessons to help these beautiful people grow their gyms. Now, let me say this. Number one, I think it highlights one of the biggest mistakes that gym owners make when it comes to growing their gym. I also think there are a number of parallels, both on the service, and I might even drop in this. We don't have this on some of the notes that I shared with you beforehand. There may even be a certain slimy, cave-dwelling character from the previous book and previous trilogy that I may reference as an example of bad management. Yeah, that's a fun additional reference. But I really do. I think there's some really good lessons, and there's some mistakes that we see lots of freaking gym owners make that is going to affect yes, the growth of the gym, but also the other side in service. And in that, bad service affects churn. Churn affects your member numbers. Member numbers affect your wallet. And so you guys not understanding these parallels, you don't have to watch the movie, although I deeply recommend it. It's going to put more money in your wallet, which sounds fun to me. So to not bury the lead too much for our non-Lord of the Rings nerds, the most successful gyms on planet Earth when it comes to growing their gym have one thing in common. They understand that they are Sam and not Frodo. Okay, so for those of you that are not the Lord of the Rings nerds, man, I've heard multiple women tell me that they have not watched Lord of the Rings, or if they tried to watch it. This is a recurring story. They tried to watch it with like bad ex-boyfriends, and they made the experience so bad for them that they never finished the movie. Yeah, my wife won't watch it because of, I don't know, some high school boyfriend tried to make her watch Lord of the Rings. I'm like, well, maybe he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy after all. But you can make. Here's what I would tell you: it is one of the best movie trilogies. I would argue the best, potentially, of all time. It is light on female characters, very light on female characters. However, I feel like it's worth giving a watch to. There's videos on social media of girlfriends' wives watching it for the first time with their boyfriends or husbands. And what does he say at the end? He's like, "My friend, you kneel to no one." And they're crying, they're bawling, like it's fucking epic. You can watch it, all right? And it's fun, and, spread it out over a few nights or what have you. It's definitely worth watching. But for those of you that don't know, Frodo's the main character, okay? So Frodo is one of these little, short, hairy feet hobbits that goes on this epic quest to destroy the evil One Ring to rule them all. And he is accompanied by his lovely gardener, Samwise Gamgee. And Sam's essentially treated like shit a lot. Sam handles everything. Sam makes boil, mash them, stick them in a stew. He handles the cooking. He handles all of the carrying of the bags and everything else. And Frodo just carries this little ring, which evidently have some magic power and shit like that. Deeply evil or whatever. But Sam has to put up with really all this shit. But Sam is like the ultimate companion. He's like, my God, if you could have a bestie like Sam, you're doing pretty good. When Frodo tries to run off and go on his own, when he leaves what they call the Fellowship, right, the squad, the A team, if you will, that's supposed to go on this quest together and destroy the ring, say, I've got to do this alone. It's like, I know you do, and I'm coming with you, right? It's really, he's like, he freaking drowns himself, basically. That's the one thing Frodo does that's good in the whole movie is pull Sam out of the water, I think, in the first movie. But they go on this quest, and Sam does freaking everything. And I feel like I'm probably pissing off people, both the people that don't watch the movie and you freaking dork, just get to the gym owner tactics. But I'm also probably pissing off the super, I don't know how many of them are in the gym space, but I speak Elvish and I know every single line and you're butchering these quotes. I'm probably pissing off freaking everybody.
For the super nerds out there, I think what you're trying to say with the quote is, I made a promise, Mr. Frodo, a promise. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to.
Great. Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much for that assistance. I may need more of that. But look, man, Frodo's the star. And when beautiful friggin' Viggo Mortensen as Aragorn is getting ready to storm the gates of Mordor, and it's the last moment, and that speech and everything else, it's the clip that goes on the best motivational speech of all time. That's like highlights of the best motivational speeches from multiple movies. He doesn't say for Frodo and Sam. He doesn't say for middle, or he says for Frodo. Like, Sam gets none of the freaking love and has to put up with Frodo's shit the entire time. But man, you watch that movie again, and Sam's the man. Sam is the absolute top G. They get to the end of the movie, and Frodo is like me after my freaking CrossFit session this morning and can't move, laying on the floor, worthless. And what does Sam say? It's something along the lines of, they're on this they got to go up to the volcano, Mount Doom, to destroy the ring, right? So they're on this like mountain, and Frodo's spent, and Sam's like, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you, and puts him on his back and drags Frodo freaking kicking and screaming up to eventually, complete the quest and all that fun stuff. Sam is the freaking man. Here's how it applies to your gym. And thank you for, gosh, this feels longer than it should have been, getting through the movie plot. But you got to kind of understand the story, I think, a little bit to get the gist of the idea. Like, Sam is like the ultimate supporting character. And without Sam, this quest does not get accomplished. It's not even close. It's over before it freaking starts. How it applies to your gym, and we'll talk marketing first. You are Sam, not Frodo, right? Your clients are Frodo. Your clients are the star. You are not the star of the show anymore. Entrepreneurship, unfortunately, it's a game of being a supporting character. You may get to do some interviews. You may get to do a podcast with your buddy. Like, you may get to do some of those things. But the reality is, if you do not make the business about the people that you are called to serve, you probably won't be very successful in that business. Certainly not for long. And so when it comes to marketing, we see all the time, one of the biggest mistakes people will make is they'll make their marketing, they'll make their content, their ads, their website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They'll make it about them. There are exceptions to this. So there are exceptions. Like, if you're, I guess, doing whatever, like bodybuilding coaching, or this apply it to CrossFit. If you're doing CrossFit coaching and you're the only subset of the business that you are making money from, right? Your target market is other CrossFitters that are attempting to go to the games, which, by the way, is a way smaller subset, right, than the larger share of the population that's interested in moving better, feeling better, being healthier, living longer, all that shit, right? Unless you're in one of those very, very specific categories where your prospects really are trying to be you, they are more proximal to you. So you might be a CrossFit coach that went to the games, whatever, and you're going to work with high-level athletes that like made it to whatever the hell the second, they change the name all the time. It was like, I don't know what it is this year. It's not regionals, it's like quarterfinals or some shit. But, maybe you're hitting people that qualified or were really close to qualifying post the initial, like the open. Forgive me, CrossFit nerds. I'm sure I'm pissing you off right now, even though I'm going to one of your gyms and enjoying it quite a bit at this stage, in spite of my bloody shins. Cleans, not box jumps, pissing off everybody. Unless you're in one of those very, very rare scenarios where you are your target market, which is, again, I will reiterate, very rare. You should not be the star of the show. Your marketing shouldn't be about what you think is cool or what you're interested in or any of those things. It should be about what your target market cares about. For most of you, that's going to mean doing content as a whatever. If you're a 35-year-old dude that made the games or is a super shredded bodybuilder or used to be an athlete, you got an 8-pack and an 800-pound deadlift or some shit, your typical prospect does not care about that. Your typical prospect is a 35 to 55-year-old woman who lives on the island of fitness misfits, never found a gym home that she enjoyed, has been overweight and low self-esteem basically for her entire life. Like, that's what most of our people are working with and basically looking to get more into their gym. I've talked to gym owners all the time. I used to think this some myself. It's like, I want people to really understand good training. I want people that are really into fitness and everything else. Like, that's cool. If you're going to build your business as a hobby, like, that's fine. But the people that have more of something already value getting more of it, typically less than someone who has less of the thing. And so if you've got someone, if your target market are people that already have their fitness and health shit together, they don't value your coaching nearly as much as someone who's never been able to figure it out on their own. Like it could be a situation where I'm hoping to make my thing a much more consistent thing, but you could very well get into a situation where you have somebody like, yeah, like I know what good training kind of looks like, and I've had trouble sticking to it, like past the post kids and whatever else, like whatever. Like I've got some things, but I just need to get back into it. And then once I get back into it for a few months, like I'm good. Those are the people that have more of their fitness and health shit together. Whereas if you get Sally, who's the overweight 55-year-old whatever, who's never found a health and fitness home, and you're the one that's able to make this fitness thing click for them, she's going to love you forever. She's going to stick around forever. You are more valuable to her than to, say, you, Dave, right? Who's, oh, I've been in fitness. I know what a good trainer looks like, whatever else, right? Like that Sally's going to be more valuable, or someone who is, it doesn't have to be a female, a guy that, was never the jock, never found a home in the gym, whatever else, been overweight for ages. Like we have plenty of those clients at the old dungeon, right? They're going to be a way more valuable client to you than the person that's like, yeah, I used to be a bodybuilder and da-da-da-da-da, and like, I just need something to get like started again. Okay. That said, if you're making your marketing all about your 8-pack and your 800-pound deadlift, that is not going to resonate with the typical clients that most of our dear listeners are trying to reach. So we need to make content where they are the hero.
So what you're saying makes sense. The core idea here is your client is the hero. They're the star of the show. We are the guide. We are the support system to get them to their ultimate goal on top of the mountain. And it's easy for people, especially in the fitness world, which you could say is kind of an industry built on self-promotion in some ways, to make for coaches to make themselves the star instead of the people we serve. And as James Pratt says, that the people that you just listed in the target avatar is that 30 to 60-year-old beginner, not a super fitness person. That's everybody.
It's everybody.
That's where you make money.
I'm not saying like don't train older. I'm giving a more like condensed pocket. Like a lot of our small group training gyms are working with people in their 80s and things like that, and that's lovely. I'm just trying not to like freaking lose the person that's on the other side thinking like, oh, I do large group fitness and we can't really work with people that are over whatever, 65, whatever the numbers are. Okay. So, but the point is not pick this target market necessarily. It's do the stuff that resonates with the target market that is going to pay you and allow you to have a business, assuming you want to have a business and not a hobby. That's not to say a hobby's bad. It's just like, you're going to have to choose what you actually want to achieve in order to, achieve what the hell you want to achieve, right? By definition. I saw this recently in a martial arts thing where talking to a gal, like, oh, we just got this, like, whatever, the best fighter in this area that was in UFC a little bit. Like, we just got him he's a coach at one of the gyms. And so, we want to put him all over their website and things like that. It's like, that's cool. Who's the demographic that pays you the most? Is it the people that are trying to be professional fighters? No. Okay. So who's the demographic? Well, the kids, and then we got the adults that are doing like the general, whatever, like this, that, and the other, whatever they're doing. Your prospect, your target market doesn't care necessarily that you have a UFC fighter that fought in the UFC, right? Now you could potentially use that authority and tie that to things that your target market cares about. But by and large, just like having a UFC fighter that runs one of your martial arts gyms, like that's cool, but it's going to be way more cool if you can connect it to things that your target market actually cares about, which is not, for most of them, for the lion's share, it's not to go fight professionally for freaking Dana White.
If I'm a gym owner and I'm thinking about, all right, I'm picking up what you're putting down and I want to try this. What is Frodo content versus Sam content, or Frodo marketing versus Sam marketing look like in practice?
So I think one of the ways that you could argue against this, or maybe maybe not argue against it, but have a question about it is, well, wait, does that mean that I don't get to do content anymore? Right? Because like, does that mean my clients have to be the ones doing the content in the videos and everything else? It's like, no, I'm not saying that. I don't think that's realistic for every piece of your content to be something that your clients are generating for you. Now, should they be featured? Absolutely. Right? Like your testimonials, getting things from their words, from their perspective is a very, very powerful thing. Arguably more powerful than what you're going to do. It's just typically tougher to get at a volume that is, good enough for you to actually get any juice out of it. Can your clients do some stuff? Absolutely. Our pal, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't plan this, but our pal Vince Gabriel, right? One of his biggest marketing shifts happened when he had the legendary in our little circle, Kathy Balsamo. She was this whatever mid-50s-year-old overweight woman that joined the gym, and they did this whole like documentary with her, and she ended up being on Dr. Oz. Like she was like super local famous and even had like a little bit of like national pub. So she would actually do videos, and that was when their stuff popped off. So it used to be like Vince would get up and be like, okay, Kathy, like they're filming this video. Now here's how we do a squat. We're going to teach the people how to do a squat. And then they switched it on one video where, cause she's like this crazy New Jersey, like incredible personality. It's like, oh no, like this shit. No, this is fucking boring, Vince. Like, let me show. All right. So this is how you fucking do the squat. And did it. And it crushed, right? It went like local viral. Now, not all of you are going to have a Kathy Balsamo in your gym, but if you can get some of that, like, do I think that's a great idea? Yes. Where most of you are going to have a more realistic sort of, okay, here's a next step. Here's something to think about, is stop thinking about the shit that is going to make people that are never going to pay you think you are cool or smart. So I used to succumb to this in my social media content. Like I grew up like, looking up to folks like Joe DeFranco and like the big like strength conditioning, whatever. We have people in the mastermind that I really respect. Guys like Andy McCloy, he's kind of like a badass in the sport, really smart strength conditioning minds. And I wanted to do things in my head. It was like, well, if they saw this, like if Joe DeFranco saw, he's like, that guy's pretty sharp. Like that's not a bad thing. Like Joe DeFranco's never going to pay me. So I probably shouldn't care about what Joe DeFranco or my trainer friends think is cool. I should do things that connect with my target market and use their words to do it, even if it makes you feel a little bit like, oh, this isn't as cool as this isn't content that I would watch and I would scroll. You're not paying you. You're paying yourself from the cash that is generated from your clients who are actually paying you. And so you want to think about, what does my target market care about? What are the problems that they're dealing with? What do they think is cool, right? What are the problems that are keeping them up at night, the insecurities, the fears, the issues they're dealing with? They're not thinking about like, how do I add 50 pounds to my deadlift? They're thinking about like, how do I not feel like shit when I get up in the morning, right? How do I not hate what the hell I have to see in the mirror? How do I like finally start losing weight now that, things have slowed down, things have changed, like post-menopause or whatever else, now that I'm getting older? Like they care about those types of issues. And so you want to do content that is for them. Again, you are Sam, not Frodo. You are in a service state. You are a servant effectively to your clientele, if, assuming that you want to have the most successful business possible.
The marketing lesson there is, all right, we got bad marketing, Frodo marketing. Look at me, my abs, my credentials, my success. Better, good marketing, Sam marketing. Here's how we help people like you get healthier, stronger, more confident, feel better, live life to the fullest. So make the client the main character, whether it's in your content, your offers, your messaging, yada, yada. That's the way to do it. You said that this also applies to the service side. So maybe it's like coaching, retention, all that. Maybe talk to us about how that bridge works.
Yeah, I feel like this is less of maybe a less typical mistake that we see in gyms, potentially just because we look at less of what the gyms are doing inside of their gyms typically. And I think by definition, there's a lot of, like most of the folks we work with, I feel like they care about the service. Like that's why they got into the business to begin with. But I do think it is worth the thought exercise of how do we create a situation where we make it as close to impossible as possible that our members do not achieve whatever their personal missions are. Right? Even if you have to drag them kicking and screaming to be able to do it. So like for context, GMM, it's like our mission is that we help get gym owners get into their own personal end zone and run up the score as high as they damn well please. Like subtext, even if we have to drag them kicking and screaming to be able to do it, sometimes we have to freaking help pull people along to get things started. Now, hopefully eventually, right, they get up on their own 2 feet, and then because Frodo does end up walking up to Mordor at the end. I think after a Gollum fight or something. Again, the parallel can kind of break a little bit. But you want to think about like, what could we do to make our program more likely to help our clients achieve whatever their personal missions are? How could we be more service focused, more client focused, more client obsessed on how we're doing things to make it less likely that they do not achieve what the heck they want to achieve. I do think you can see some situations where the gym owner is sort of programming for themselves. You can get a little bit of, oh, this is what I think is cool and this is what I care about. I used to do this, right? So again, growing up in that circle of, you wonder why my biceps are so tiny. A, I've never taken exogenous hormones, so I'm still natty for life at this point. But B, I was like from that circle of like, oh, you don't got to do direct arm work. Like direct arm works for pussies. Oh, yeah, ab work. Like, you dumb motherfucker. Like everything you do in the gym works your core. Like you don't need ab work. And then in my head, I wouldn't say it this way, but it, clients was, oh, like I feel like I want to like, can we do more for my core? And for a while there in the back of my head, and I may have had conversations with clients at some point, right? It's been a long time where it was like, yeah, I love that for you, whatever. Also, everything we do is working your core. You know what, motherfucker? Like, what would be like? How does James do it? Now, James is more training nerd, I think, than maybe I could ever be, right? I was pretty high on the training nerd continuum way back in the day, but like James is a super heavy training nerd, and guess what? One of the most super heavy training nerds, if not the biggest super heavy training nerd that I know, also asks clients at the end of their programs, it's like, what exercises would you want to see more of? Like, what types of exercises would you want to see less of? And they work it around what the client's preferences are, right? We used to call it in the, what I used to call when we were running sessions is like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, we're going to give our clients dessert. Okay. So we might do what we thought at the time was like very like well put together, well programmed, like functional fitness, whatever the correct terms are at this stage, that sort of like, it made me feel good about what we were doing. Does it hurt anybody to add 5 minutes of dessert at the end? Like, does it hurt anybody to add a butts and guts finisher for the 20 women in your class? No, it doesn't. Does it hurt you to let your athletes, your high school boys, right, at the end of the session do, all right, you get gun show for the last 5-10 minutes of the session. Like, you can do whatever you want, get a pump, like do what you want to do. It doesn't hurt anyone to be able to do that. And so I do think there's a world where, okay, on the service side, it's like, again, it's not necessarily, okay, I'm dragging you kicking and screaming. It doesn't have to be like that as a thought process, but I do think it's how can we be more focused on giving our clients what they're looking for, giving our clients things they're going to enjoy, right? Can you let them feel a little bit in their butts and guts? Probably what most women want. Some of them get a little tricep in there too, or look at my chicken wings. Like, can we give them a little something that makes them feel like they're making progress on the things they care about? I don't think that's such a negative thing. And then yes, can you take it a layer further and say, all right, well, are there things that we could, like, given the restrictions, the constraints of the business, are there things that we could do to make them more likely to be successful? Now, in some situations, that may just be like a simple coach check-in. It may be having a conversation about goals. It may be, oh, you know what? Like, we could do more accountability, this, that, and the other, add this structure. Like, I don't think it has to be that complex. I think something as simple as just like checking in with a client on how they're doing, reaching out to them when they're not showing up to sessions, making things fun and enjoyable for them. That sort of circles back to the other one, because if they're enjoying what they're doing, they're a heck of a lot more likely to keep showing up. And if they keep showing up, they're a heck of a lot more likely to be able to achieve whatever their goals are. Like, just thinking about things in that way, I think it'd be powerful and will mitigate churn and make the gym owner's wallet. You combine that with the marketing side, and all of a sudden you're client obsessed, both on the marketing front and on the service front. Like, you're probably going to have a pretty good business, right? The probability is relatively high. This applies to your team too. Being a Sam, not a Frodo, and importantly, not a Gollum, because some of us may tend to manage like Gollums a little bit. That's going to make your team worse, right? It's going to make your team less happy. It's going to increase your team churn and everything else. So we've already talked about like the service mindset of Sam. Like, that's it, and it's the same concept. And it's interesting. Like, if you talk to any of these folks that have gotten to, 5-6 locations or more, like, they're really, really dialed in on their teams, and all like it's the way that I have to think about things now, right? So I can't deal with every individual client issue with as many gyms as we're working with at this point, right? Nothing would ever get done. What I have had to transition the focus towards is, how do we get a fantastic team? It almost shifts to where your sales and marketing funnels and the time that you're spending, making people better, the coaching that you're spending, this parallels perfectly to gyms. Again, the Mark Ennis's, the Connor Flahives, even James, right at this stage, he is spending more of his time developing his team and being a servant to them than he is in dealing with individual client situations. It is helpful, I think, to consider, hey, am I being a Sam or a Frodo in team situations as well? Because it is very easy as a business owner to think everything's about me. And, oh, like these people work for me. Well, like a lot of these people have choices. Like they could leave and go work somewhere else. So if you like don't care about your team and you're not being of service to them, then maybe that's not like a great thing. And unfortunately, again, as someone who maybe skews in that way sometimes psychologically, it's like your paycheck does not necessarily like warrant you being of service to them in and of itself, right? Like if it's just the pay, they can probably go somewhere else and maybe get paid the same or more, or they might take less if they have someone that is interested in the service and development of them and their individual quests, right? Like our goal as owners and leaders should be to help these people get to their own individual quests, their own individual missions. I think that's part of what makes a really good leader. I see some people that manage like a little Gollum, like a little Smeagol, right? If you watch the movie, little Smeagol, he'll say nice things. I want to make you do the voice, right? Like he'll say nice things. Oh, the masters, I can't do it. And he's manipulative. So he'll be nice, on the side and be like, oh no, this is the only way. Like you've got to come this way. The point is that some of us operate, I think, as more manipulative leaders. It's a little more like, oh, let me just like, I'm going to tell you this and try to get you to do things this way. And I think people can smell that, right? Like you're trying to trick the hobbitses into, going up the stairs of whatever it's called, the name of the place, and feed them to the large evil spider and do things to turn people against each other and things like that, throw away all of the limbus bread and whatnot. Again, these references are getting a little bit weak, but I do think it's worth considering, like, are you being a Sam to your team, right? And it's less like maybe being, I think there's still parallels to like be Sam, not Frodo. There's also, be Sam, not Gollum. Like, are you actually taking care of your team? Do you actually give a shit about them? Do you care about what their personal missions and their personal quests are? Or are you just trying to manipulate them into doing your bidding so that you can eventually get the precious? If we operate in that way as leaders, we are probably not going to be as effective.
Okay, so with the marketing piece and service as well, but just this whole idea of, when your clients, your team feels like the story is about them, what does that mean for results and for like really, I guess, JR, why does this matter?
Yeah, I mean, I think the irony of it is if you can make your clients and then also your team at the forefront of your focus, if you can make them the stars of the show, if you can put yourself into this service mindset, which is, again, it's somewhat of an ironic thing. I think some of us get in business. I certainly got in business originally somewhat selfishly. It was like, I don't want to work for someone else. I feel like I can do this better, that I'm smarter than this, that, and the other, that I have a better thing to provide to this market. And I enjoyed, like, again, I started training the athletes is the first thing. Like, I loved training the athletes and absolutely gave major shits, right, about the people that we were working with. But it's still, like, I think there's some irony and tension there in ego and selfishness to a certain extent, where you're sort of starting this business effectively to take care of you. And the irony is that if we can start to think about how do we personally as owners and leaders, and then also we as a business, put ourselves into more of this like service mindset. I am here personally at this point to help our team achieve whatever their personal mission is so that the clients can achieve whatever their personal missions are. If you do not have a team at this stage, then if you can put yourself into the mindset of, I am here to service my clients, to do things that give my clients and my prospects and my market the best experience possible, give them content that is useful for them, give them copy and ad and creative and offers that resonate with them, that they think is cool, unique, interesting, relevant, etc. If I can put myself there, I'm going to be able to enjoy a hell of a lot more rewards. Selfishly, I will ironically be rewarded more for my mindset of Sam and service than I will if I'm thinking about like I need to be the main character all the time. And that's fine. It trickles down to every area of the business, right? If you start making your marketing more, again, Sam focused, okay, where you're making your clients the star of the show, you're going to get more leads. More of those leads are going to convert because the messaging that you're putting out into the universe is resonating with those humans because it is designed for them to serve them and not based on what you think is cool or what your trainer buddies are going to think is cool, right? You're going to get more conversions on the other side. More people are going to buy because they feel more understood. Those people are likely to stay more now if you can make the service more about them, right? The actual product and services they're receiving more relevant and I don't know what the word is, but just more directed towards what they think is cool, what they are trying to achieve, what their goals are. They're going to stay more. What does that mean? More money for you in your pocket. And then on the team side, again, the folks that are listening to this that have been in the game a while, like if they've lost team members or haven't been able to keep people around, and then maybe figured it out later, you're like, oh shit, like yeah, it's way easier. Like there's value to having people around that know the things in the business, right? That are really good people that stick around. Having good team retention is such a powerful thing for the business. And if you want to disagree, it's like go the other way. How's it going to feel? Some of our people that are listening to this have probably gone through this when you're replacing somebody off the floor every 3 months. Like your clients are dealing with new people. Your time is spent training up these new trainers to be able to get good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so again, if you can put yourself in the mindset, if you are in a leadership or management role, can you think, Sam, not Frodo, and then make where you work a better place to work, make it a better experience for your team, ironically, sometimes without having to pay them more. Like, do you need to pay people well enough based on market value and things like that? Absolutely. But there's a certain point where like the way you do things is so refreshing in comparison to the other gyms they could go work at in your market, the other choices they have, that they might stay for less money just because the culture is so healthy and they feel so nurtured and they get to develop and grow because the owner or their managers actually care about them, right? As opposed to trying to manipulate them and twist them into getting whatever the hell it is, you know, the whatever the hell the equivalent of your precious is to you, which again leads to a better performing team, which leads to more time off, more freedom for you, more confidence, sleeping easier at night because you know your team's going to do the things the right way. And yes, lead to more money in your personal pocket. Like you ironically have a better chance of getting your precious when you can think in this service mindset as opposed to being a selfish piece of shit. And I think it is natural human nature to think like a selfish piece of shit to a certain extent. And hey, if we can be a little bit more like Sam, I think we're going to have a lot better time in many of our endeavors.
The gym owners, ask yourself, are you trying to be the hero or are you helping your clients become one? Be Sam. And for all the Lord of the Rings nerds, as Boromir once said, one does not simply post ab selfies and expect conversions.
That's good.
Direct quote from the books.
Yeah, I do believe that is, yes, well done. I come to you at the turn of the tide. Right? That wasn't bad. We can talk about Lord of the Rings now. I mean, you know, why?
Yeah.
You know, the Eagles, like where the hell were they the whole time?
Could have used them way earlier. So in order to be Gandalf, no, I'm just kidding. Let's not even go there.
All right, beautiful people. I hope this was somewhat useful in spite of the circuitous route that we took through Middle Earth. If you've got things that you want us to dive deeper on, shoot us a DM on Instagram. Hey, do us if you liked it, do us a gigantic favor. I'll love you forever. Dave will make cookies for you if he ever sees you in person. leave a 5-star review, subscribe if you're on YouTube. All those fun things really help out the channel, and we'll love you so much. That's all for today. See you in the next episode.